It is 5 minutes past 12. You are listening to the mid morning talk with me, Mario Makwanda. And it is time for our hit list. On today's hit list is Lorraine Khoza, social justice activist, chairperson, and founder of the Lorraine Khoza Foundation. Born Lorraine Khoza in Mpumalanga, South Africa, on the 11th of April 1997. She is the chairperson and founder of the Lorraine Khoza Foundation, a nonprofit organization whose primary objectives are to provide counseling services, legal advice, and assistance. Shelters or safe houses for women and children, and an initiation of GBV intervention and prevention programs. Her passion for women and children is as a result of having been a victim of abuse and the judicial system after she fought and came out stronger, she decided to dedicate her life to be the voice of the marginalized, being women and children. So Lorraine is joining me on the other side to share her story with us. Good morning or good day, Lorraine, and thank you for joining me. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Thank you. All right. So, first of
Okay.
all, congratulations on your accolades, and one of them being Mail and Guardian's top 200 young South Africans. What did this recognition mean to you?
It meant that we are actually headed towards the right direction in terms of fighting gender-based violence in our country. And
Mhm.
when I received the nomination, our organization was just a year old, but at the time we had already done so much. We had reached out to thousands of women through social media, through our community outreach programs. So for me, having been a finalist of the Mail and Guardian was sort of a pat on the shoulder to let me know that we are headed towards the direction. There's something right that we are doing, and for us to be recognized at that level meant that we cannot stop now. The fight is very, very far from being over, but it means that our contribution is actually making a difference. So that's really what it meant for me, and it also meant that other women out there who had been through what I had went through can learn a
Mhm.
few things from me. They can learn that your encounter does not determine where you are headed. You might have been a victim at the time, but you can be a survivor. You can get through whatever it is
Mhm.
or any form of abuse that you had endured at the time. There's still a chance for you to wake up and do something, go out there and impact change. So in just a nutshell, that is what the nomination for the Mail and Guardian meant to me.
Mhm. All right. Let's go back to when it all started and the reason behind your wanting to start the Lorraine Khoza Foundation. And as I mentioned in in my introduction of your from your bio that you were a victim of the abuse. So take us back to that story. What happened that led you to start the foundation?
So, at 17 years old, in my first year into varsity, I got sexually assaulted. And I opened up a case with the South African Police Services. That was in 2015, March 12th. And they took in my case, but they never communicated thereafter. So I waited the whole of 2015 with no communication from the police. And then later on in 2016, I think around September, I received a call from the South African Police Services to let me know that um, to actually to find out if I still want to proceed with the case. And I wondered, how do you ask me that? Because as far as I know, I'm supposed to be receiving communication from you guys to update me on what's happening with my case. They are asking me
Mhm.
this after this very man that assaulted and violated me had now violated another student in the same area. So luckily the student was able to also open up a case, and then now it was two cases combined against one perpetrator with two complainants against the guy. So we started attending court in 2016, and it wasn't an easy time for me at all. I was still in school. There was a time where I actually wanted to quit and go back home because I'm from Mala. I just decided this case isn't for me. This is really hard to deal with. I had to, focus on school while also dealing with this. But I don't know how it happened. I was able to complete my qualification in record time. I did my BTech in internal auditing. I finished still in the process of attending court. Many court dates were postponed at the time, and we would go to court. He'd come, he'd pitch, but when it's time for him to bring in his witnesses, he'd tell us that he doesn't know where his witnesses are, and the courts would allow that. So there was constant postponement of cases over and over multiple times, to a point where I gave my testimony. The doctor that attended to me came to give his testimony as well. Unfortunately, my aunt, who was my witness, passed on the same year that we started with the court proceedings. So it was just me and my daughter at the time, plus the other lady who was violated as well. So it dragged on for the longest time. And during that period, I realized that if you do not receive any psychosocial support, chances of making it are very slim to none. And the justice system of our country itself perpetrates secondary victimization. You have to deal with this, and you have to deal with the justice system as well. So once I was done with my testimony in court, I waited for them to give me an update, and no update was given to me at all until last year during lockdown level 5. I went to inquire about the case, and I realized that he's blacklisted. He's been wanted over and over in court until they issued a warrant of arrest. So right now, I'm still in the process of attending court. 6 years later, nothing has been done. The foundation was founded I had the vision to champion some of these issues that other women face, and they do not have the platform to speak about. Once I shared my story, I received a lot of stories from other women as well, letting me know that we have actually been through this, but we didn't know how to speak out. We didn't know the proper channels to follow in order for us to find help. And I realized that gender-based violence or sexual assault on its own is very stigmatized. People do not know how to speak about it because communities would blame the victim. You don't even know if you should receive. You don't even know that you should receive psychosocial support. So we allow these things to happen because there's no information that is shared. So I realized that there's so much that's going on. There's so many things that are going wrong that I didn't know about until I had to go out there and look for this information. That's when I decided that if I start an organization that caters to women and children that have been violated and women that haven't, we try to find intervention and prevention programs to ensure that those that are potential victims do not end up being victimized. And then that's where we try and empower them economically to address the root causes of gender-based violence.
Wow, what a story, and what a difficult time that you have been through. I mean, has the guy been arrested, or is he still free to roam the streets and go about his life while you guys are here, you and the other lady, perhaps even many other victims who could not come forward, are sitting in silence, and some can't even continue with their lives because they are still traumatized by the events that took place. So has he been arrested?
So when I went and inquired, they told me that they issued a warrant of arrest because the courts were looking for the police, and the courts were looking for him. So I only learned when I went to I think the previous court date. There was another one last week to which I didn't attend. The one before the one last week, we went and I spoke to the colonel to find out exactly why this case is dragging on so long, and what exactly is going on. And I was told that after he assaulted the lady and he assaulted 3 more women. So you understand that the justice system is lenient, and without them knowing, they're actually allowing perpetrators to continue going out there, violating even more women because they are out in the streets, they have rights, they have bail, they can apply for bail and go out there and continue to violate even more women. The guy had violated 2, and that was not even his first time. He's a criminal. He had a criminal record at the time that I opened my case. They know about this. How do you allow repeat offenders on bail to continue? So you are saying indirectly, you're saying that they should go out there and continue to violate even more women and even put the lives of the complainants at risk, because who would allow you to continue with your life knowing that you have the potential to bring to bring him to jail for the longest time. So he violated the other three women, and the last one went to open a case while the police were looking for him. So that's how they were able to find him. So currently he's in the custody of police, but there has not been any sentencing or judgment. I went this year hoping that finally I'm going to, get my justice, because it's been the longest time, but they kept postponing as well. An instance that I can put out to you right now is that when he went to court, his lawyer wasn't around, and he said that he doesn't have money because he's in the custody of police, so he doesn't know how to reach out to the lawyer, and the courts allowed that. The courts allow the simplest excuses to just, allow them to continue living their lives peacefully, not considering the victims at all. So it was postponed, and then last week, the one that was scheduled for last week was postponed as well. I received an SMS from the South African Police Service. There's another court date that's happening next week. I don't even know what's going to end up with it, but he's in the custody of the police right now. And another thing is, you can't even, at the time where the police informed me that he's blacklisted and they're looking for him, I was told that I can't even share his pictures because he is I can't even ask the people, the public, to assist me in looking for him, because he's an accused. No one is sure that he really committed this sort of crime. And I was like, the justice system is very, 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 very lenient on perpetrators. This is why they continue to murder women every day. They continue to rape women. They continue to hijack and traffic women, because they know that when you go to jail, you'll be allowed to go out there again. Even what happens in jails. Last week on TikTok, I saw a video of a prisoner recording a TikTok in jail. How do you even justify that? Are you saying that, no, continue doing these crimes, there's no repercussion whatsoever? You'll go to jail, you'll get a meal, you'll be even granted a phone to go on TikTok and, live like a normal person.
Imagine, huh? No,
Imagine
the
that.
judicial system is it's a
Yeah.
joke. It's a disappointment because it's not favoring and protecting the people who are supposed to be protected by it. It is favoring and protecting the perpetrators, not the victims, but the perpetrators. Because if they can go out and continue about their lives, the victims still live in fear, and some can't even continue with their lives because of that trauma that they have experienced and faced throughout the years. I mean, they cannot say that come up with all sorts of excuses just to protect him. Something needs to be done, and we need to put pressure on our government, on our judicial system, and on the SAPS to do better than this, better to protect our kids. Because if he's probably not the only one. There are many other perpetrators like him going around and continuing to commit their crimes. Lorraine, please stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, but we will continue thereafter.
All right.
You are listening to the Mid Morning Talk on Salam Media. It is 24 past 12, and I am chatting to Lorraine Khoza, who is the chairperson and founder of the Lorraine Khoza Foundation, chatting to us about her ordeal, what happened to her, which inspired her to start this foundation of hers. And she was also named as a Mail and Guardian's 200 Young South Africans, and also received quite a number of other um, achievements. She was also honored by the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, for the Lorraine Khoza Foundation's contribution on fighting gender-based violence and femicide last year in 2020. And she also participated in other leadership credentials, such as being the secretary of the Students' Council in the Economics and Finance faculty at the Tshwane University of Technology, Student Representative Council at the same university, as well as branch secretary of the South African Student Congress, TUT Garankoa. So Lorraine, thank you for staying with us on the line now. You are also passionate about women empowerment. So what does women empowerment mean to you, and how do you empower the young women and young girls in your community?
Women empowerment for me means that women have an equal chance to participate in the economy however way they see fit. Women empowerment is women going out there and becoming the best version of themselves without any patriarchal standards hindering them, without any economic inequality hindering them. So our way of empowering women is we prioritize disadvantaged communities. Our services are not limited to any geographical area. However, we do prioritize disadvantaged communities because we feel that in these very communities, a lot of information is not shared amongst them. There are no let's take for instance in the urban areas, you know that you could always go to school or you could always visit this office for 1, 2, 3, but in these rural areas, these kind of things are not there. So we decided that we will be prioritizing women and children there. So in the past 2 years, because our organization is almost 2 years old, we turned 2 in April. So during the time we went and visited women in these communities to find out what is the situation in their homes, because I believe that we cannot apply an umbrella approach when dealing with gender-based violence and the empowerment of women. We need to go to specific communities, find out exactly what is the problem there, and then try and address the root cause specifically for that community, catering to that community's specific needs. So in the past, we've hosted seminars, empowerment seminars to encourage entrepreneurship and to also let these women know about government interventions that are there in place to ensure that if they've not attended school, they can always go the entrepreneurship route. And then if they do want to, if they are aspiring entrepreneurs or they are already entrepreneurs, how do they access funding? How do they access formal training in order for them to be eligible for other funding opportunities that are there outside of those of the government? And that went really well. We were able to on the very first seminar, we had an attendance of plus minus 100 women from the Ngomazi municipality. And last year we worked together with the Department of Social Development. So we were asked by the department to facilitate a workshop for women in another rural area. We went there, but when I went there, I realized that these women actually want to do something about their lives, but there are not a lot of opportunities. So how do we come through for them as an organization, as a way of addressing the economic dependency on their male counterparts, which is another root cause of gender-based violence, but also how do we ensure that they do participate in our economy equally as the other as their male counterparts. So we realize that a lot of them are into farming. However, they do not have the necessary resource to ensure that the crops or the plants, whatever it is that they farm, is able to reach supermarkets, and they're able to have some sort of sustainable program going on to ensure that there's also food security in these communities. So what we did was we then applied for assistance from Tanganyika Institute for Development, and we were granted that assistance. So right now we will be launching a project which is phase 2, because we went to the community and we found out that this is what was happening. And then how do we then assist these women? So we will be launching a program next week, which is an agricultural problem to end gender-based violence and to ensure that women have, know what their land rights are and they have access to this land. So those are the kind of things that we do to ensure that if you don't want to go, if you didn't get the opportunity to go to school and you do have a dream of being an entrepreneur, how best can we assist you? What are the proper channels to follow? If you still want to go back to school, these are the proper channels. So we are always looking at innovative ways to ensure that different women in their diversity are always empowered in these rural communities. So in a nutshell, that is what we do. It's also because we are an organization that deals primarily with fighting gender-based violence, offering support services to victims and survivors. But because we believe that if we want to fight gender-based violence, we need to address the root cause. We also need to, address economic inequality to ensure that these women are also able to participate in the community and they do have a choice to leave these abusive situations, because at least there is something that they're making for themselves. There is food securities in this household. They are not able to go into situations that are unfavorable just because they need to bring a plate on the table. So those are the kind of programs that we are working on. Apart from going out there, doing outreach, teaching about gender-based violence, finding people that need our assistance, we also focus on the empowerment of women, which is ensuring that they too participate in our economy.
All right. That's a great initiative and great work that you are doing with the foundation. What advice would you like to give to our viewers and our listeners?
Speak out if you have been violated and you, for the longest time, you've known that something needs to be done. Speak out. You don't need to go to a public platform. Find organizations that work with survivors and victims, like the Lorraine Khoza Foundation in the nearest area. If you can reach out to us, do reach out to us. As I've mentioned, that our services are not limited to a geographical dimensional area. We can even help you through social media, reach out to you and then find the necessary intervention for you. But what I would like to say is we cannot continue to keep quiet and protect perpetrators just because they are our brothers or just because we live with them or they exist in the communities that we live in. We need to speak out on gender-based violence. We need to go out there and bring about real change. And real change starts at your very own house. If you know that your husband or your father is abusive, or your son or your brother is abusive, and you keep quiet about it, you are also a part of the problem. If we are trying to, fight this, we need to come together and report these incidents, report these cases, and then ensure that these victims and survivors are offered the necessary intervention to ensure that their lives continue to go on. And if we are going to fight gender-based violence, it cannot stop us going to the streets and marching. We cannot. People going out there to the streets, it's good to raise awareness, it's good to educate, but if you're really trying to deal with gender-based violence, you need to address the root cause, find out what is happening in these communities, why are these women enduring abuse, what exactly is going on, and then from there we are able to find out the necessary intervention. Be kind to each other, be a safe space for those around. You don't need to form an organization.
All right, Lorraine, we are losing sound there. I think it's because of the device and it's ringing.
Yeah,
But
there's
thank you.
there's a call coming in and I tried. I'm so sorry. There's a call coming in and I tried to decline the call, but they kept calling. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, my message for everyone out there, even those that have went through what I went through, your life can very much go on. And I can't say that I have conquered at all, because some days I do get flashbacks. Some days are just the worst, especially dealing with cases of gender-based violence. Each and every now and then there's a trigger, but I am here today. I decided that I'm going to speak out. And once I found my voice, I found my power. So do not feel victimized. Go out there, look for justice, and do not give up. It's just unfortunate that we deal with a justice system that is not favorable at all to survivors of gender-based violence and or any form of abuse. So my message for me today is speak out on these social ills, bring about change. You don't need a huge platform to make change. Wherever you are, you can start there. Join initiatives like ours. Just go out there and become the best version of yourself and protect the ones around you and stop violating women. Enough is enough. We are tired of going to the streets. We are tired of going on social media and raising awareness. We are tired. We cannot even exist freely in the streets of South Africa because you are always looking over your shoulder in fear of another man coming to violate you again. Our South African men can do better. Do better.
Definitely.
Stop gender-based violence.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Lorraine, and for the lovely chats. And I wish you well in your future endeavors. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Marianne. All the best as well.
Thank you. Bye bye. That was
Bye.
Lorraine Khoza, founder and chairperson of the Lorraine Khoza Foundation. And her message there: speak out, break the silence, and take back your power. Do stay with us. We will be back after the break.